Hey, Pat Tokuyama here, creator of All Day I Eat. Today I wanted to do a little quick review on the Rancilio Silvia PID Espresso machine, as well as the Eureka Atom 75 Specialita Espresso grinder. So I've had this machine since January of 2015, so just over 8 years at this point, and I've had a lot of opportunities to use it with a lot of different espressos, both store-bought from Italy, as well as my own home roasts. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. It's one of my favorite ways to start the day, or even if I need a midday pickup. Let's talk about some of the features. So if you're new to espresso, this is a single boiler dual use machine. So SBDU is an acronym that you might see. Basically it means that there's one boiler that heats the water for making espresso as well as steaming milk. This can be a pro or a con depending if you enjoy espresso only, or if you like a lot of milk based drinks, then this might be a little bit of inconvenience as far as your workflow goes. So the second thing, it has a PID. I would recommend getting the PID, which helps to set the temperature as well as the pre-infusion time and some of the other little settings that you can play with. But those are the two most important things that you should consider getting when you're looking at any espresso machine, so that it has temperature control as well as pre-infusion time. Temperature is important for the types of espresso that you're using. For example, if you're using a dark roast, you're going to be using a lower temperature, usually around 190 to 195 Fahrenheit, versus a medium roast, you might go from 195 to 200 Fahrenheit, and lighter roasts above 200 degrees, maybe up to 210 at the most Fahrenheit, as far as getting the ideal flavor out of the espresso extraction. And then as far as the pre-infusion goes, this is more so for, I guess, covering any mistakes that you might have made as far as preparing your espresso puck. So you can actually get a lot of practice in preparing your espresso shots by using a bottomless portafilter. If you don't have one of those, highly recommended. It doesn't come with the Rancilio Silvia, unfortunately, so you'll just have to buy it separately, but you'll get a good idea of how well you're preparing your pucks. And the pre-infusion helps to mitigate some of that. If you didn't prepare it properly, you might have some channeling, which you'll notice with a bottomless portafilter, it's going to spray all over the place and make a big mess, which is not the best thing. And the second thing is it's not going to extract all of the espresso efficiently. This machine also has a cup warmer, and if you have a bunch of espresso cups, cappuccino cups, or whatever, you can put them on top, and generally by the time the machine is properly warmed up in about 20 minutes, those cups will start to get warm as well. So those are some of the features why I chose this machine several years ago, and it served me well. I've had zero issues with it. I don't think the learning curve is as bad as some people have said it is, at least online from what I've read. And I think you can probably get some very nice espresso shots or milk-based drinks with your first day of use. So some of the pros and cons, we'll get into that right now. I think, like I said before at the beginning, if it's a single boiler, so if you just make espresso, then it's great for you. If you make a lot of milk-based drinks, then you might want to get a dual boiler. That means there's one boiler for the espresso and one dedicated boiler for steaming milk. And you can do both of those at the same time when you have two boilers. Con, for sure, I would say that it takes about 20 minutes to heat up. I would say that's being somewhat on the lenient side. Some people might say 30 minutes. You can get around this con with a smart plug, like a Casa smart plug, which is what I use to preheat the machine early in the morning when prior to me waking up and going over to the kitchen to make espresso. It is easy to clean. Basically the shower head, if you need to back flush the machine, the water tank comes out from the back, and since it's mostly stainless steel, it's very easy to just use a sponge with a little bit of dish soap and clean it off if you need to. Another con, I would say, is the looks of this machine. It's not necessarily the prettiest or coolest looking espresso machine in my opinion. It seems a little bit dated in my opinion, and that might be a con for you. Maybe not. And I think another pro is that it makes very repeatable shots, a very good espresso. That's why this is one of the more popular machines, and it has, I think it continues to be very popular even to this day, because for the price that you are paying, the machine is providing a lot of value. Very good espresso, very powerful steaming if you need to make milk-based drinks, and it's easy to use. Some of the limitations, I would say, as new technology and different types of machines have come to the market over the years, since 2015 when I initially bought this, it doesn't have flow control, which you might have seen was all the rage about a couple years ago when it first came out, as far as managing the amount of water that flows into the puck and manually adjusting that, or using even a computer to do that for you. This is a very basic machine. It doesn't have any of those fancy features. It doesn't have a smart timer built in to turn it on and off. Like I mentioned before, you can get around that. And there's no volumetric dosing, so you can't program it to put out like 30 or 40 or 50 mils of water for your single or your double shots. You have to manually use the switch, or you can use the PID timer, which I had mentioned at the beginning, is one of the reasons why I purchased this machine. So hopefully that helps to make your decision a little bit easier. I think this is an excellent machine regardless of where you are in your espresso journey. If you're just starting out, you have some experience with other machines, you want something different, I would definitely recommend this for those types of people, and especially so for people who are just making espresso drinks. Or if you like to make milk-based drinks too, this would be a good fit as well.